meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak.
Hello and good evening. The vision behind the art here at the Morris Burnham Hotel Studio M down in the basement. Today we have a special guest, Kiwi.
Woo! Hi everybody.
What is up, my friend?
Oh, my expectations, hope for peace on earth, goodwill to mankind, that's what's up.
You made it back to America, you made it back to the Morris Burnham Hotel.
Correct.
People that
Yep.
don't know you, do you want to give us a quick brief about yourself?
Yeah, myself. I'm a person from New Zealand. I have been coming to the States here, particularly Reno, since 2004. Discovered Burning Man through the television channel we have in New Zealand, and when I arrived here, I had been introduced to Haggy at the Burner Hostel.
Happened to me too.
Yes,
Yep.
and so very good connection to have there, and a couple of his friends picked me up from the airport and asked me if I had a player name, and I thought, well, what's that? And, you know, well, you're from New Zealand, we'll call you Kiwi.
Okay.
So I was introduced to everybody from there on in as Kiwi. And so, you know, my family and what have you at various times, if they want my attention, call me Kiwi.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Over there at home too?
Yeah, at home too.
But everyone is Kiwi in New Zealand, isn't it?
Well, kind of not really. No, we are Kiwis, but
Okay.
you know, there's only a few that are actually the Kiwi. You know,
I see,
that
and
are
you're
around
one
the
of
place.
those.
Yeah, there's a bunch around the world for sure. You know.
Yep. I heard the name before when I say I'm using your name and I say Kiwi. I say, oh, Kiwi from New Zealand. I say, it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
Many Kiwis came to America.
Yeah.
Not many of them got to go to Burning Man. The one that did got to build really big art in Burning Man.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think what Burning Man gives us is scope. You know, we know we can build things. We're very clever in New Zealand, you know, as far as putting projects together or building houses or whatever it is. Very handy type of characters. And but when you go to Burning Man, you see there's way more potential to you know, express yourself in various mediums. So. I was very fortunate to. I brought my sons and their friends over the years, 2005, 6, 7. They ended up getting involved in DPW and told me that I should be doing the same thing. So I did that in 2008 and 9, and that's quite an experience to go out to the player before anything else is out there and be involved in bashing tea stakes into the ground for 10 miles, you know.
And grow lots of stuff all
calluses all over your hands,
all over the body.
So yeah, you get to see a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and then you realise the potential for being involved in this project. Large scale art, for instance.
Speaking about really large scale art, Temple of Transition.
It was kind of bold.
Yeah.
It followed on from Megatropolis that we obviously did in 2010, and we figured that that it's possible to do anything out there given the right situation and the right funding, obviously, because something like that takes a lot of money to put together. But the temple was special.
How many people over there?
I think in that photo there's around about 120.
And how many people overall on the project?
Yeah, it varied sort of from anywhere from like 160 to 250 people, you know, that got involved over the. If you include people that donated, you know, it's possibly 300-400 people, you know, that were involved completely, you know.
That made it happen.
Yeah, but on player there was about 160 people on the crew, and we needed everyone. It was very exhausting. People dropped like flies when they weren't used to the temperature. So
Kiwi's back. So you're back.
Yeah, Kiwi's back. It's quite funny. It was put together by Grin.
Oh,
Grin did that, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody said, "Oh my God, is Kiwi back?" And that was like, I think last year or the year before. But that guy, the other guy in that photo there, is Chaos, who's in charge of heavy equipment or heat for Burning Man, and he is an amazing character. And a lot of things wouldn't happen on the player without his input, you know. And so there's all these people that have, you know, almost like unsung heroes to some degree that make things happen out there, and he's definitely one. Cool, calm and collected. The name Chaos is the complete opposite of what he is. He's not chaotic at all.
In 12 we built a project together. I don't know if you made it here in 2012, but together with all the rest of the International Art America crew.
Right.
And they send me to every machinery and they say go and meet with Chaos, and I say I don't know if I want to go and meet with Chaos. Why won't you go to meet with Chaos and let me know what you say?
Yeah.
So they came back with empty-handed, and then took back and forth until you actually receive something from heavy machinery. Now when I say that, I mean it's really hard kind of get stuff from Burning Man, you know, because they're very organized, they're very structured. And when you coming as an artist right now and you say I want to build this and I need the forklift and I need the scissor lift and I need to crane to move this all the way around, I say hold on, who are you again? Let's talk. But once they know you, once you actually accomplish the first project, they're much more open for the second one.
Very much, yeah.
When you're going again and people recognize your face, they're much willing more to help.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's and that's to do with a lot of the infrastructural parts of Burning Man. You know, as long as you don't piss people off,
right.
They're willing to help you. You know, and they can. Yeah, that is. Oh my God, is that Kiwi? Who's looking? That's funny.
See Paul asking, didn't he work on the temple last year? Did you work on Holiness last year?
No. My last project that I worked on was the temple. I didn't go in 2012. I had to return back to New Zealand. I had a little bit of a little cancer operation to get sorted. But 2013, I went basically. Wasn't on any projects, but was a little bit sort of supportive to some degree of the control tower. That Irish and some of the crew put together. But I've been taking time out. Reflecting.
Now you're planning to go to Burning Man this year?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? You said it last year.
Yeah.
And I saw you on the playa right next to the parade.
Yeah. Well, and the odd thing was, it didn't go to my plan. I wanted to go on the Wednesday of the week of the event and just go for the burn nights, and see what was going on. But I ended up getting an early entry pass, so. Went earlier. By the time I got to the end of the first week, or the week of the event I should say, I was going like, nah, I really want to go home. So I just jumped in my van and went back to the Haggies and chilled out there and watched it on live stream.
But you have a lot to come home to. I mean, we just opened the Morris Burner Hotel like a month before Burning Man. We bought the hotel and start working and building, and the crew that was here, really hardly motivated people. They just want to break shit and rip this carpet off and do stuff. You guys did a lot. I mean,
it was interesting because we had to do a whole lot to start with clearing out, but then we realized, and we had some tenants still here, we realized we couldn't work around them. We needed to basically ask them to leave. They found a new place somewhere and they're much happier anyway. And it gave us the chance to really get into the bones of the thing and pull everything out. And it major job, eh? I mean, 40 rooms worth of, 50 years of stuff.
We definitely worked a lot. I mean, there is a video that we're showing almost every show, every opportunity, presentation about us walking with the hazmats and they're just taking all of this carpet.
Oh,
it was definitely an experience for sure. What was the most challenging, I would say, in the beginning for you?
Well, I think really it was just how dirty some of these rooms were. I think that's challenging to think that you've got to deal with this stuff. You're not dealing with what you would call not sanitized, but at least something that you could work with. But you had to start from bare bones, and
so bring it to the bare was the hard part.
Bring it to the bare bones, and then see what you could do with it. And obviously I was here for about 6 months roughly that I was here. And you came back and obviously took the helm to a great degree, and you've got a great crew that's worked tirelessly, although they get tired.
For sure.
And the achievements you've done here is pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing result.
I ask if it's what you expected, and you say more?
Yeah, it's more than what I expected, because there was always concern how the rooms were going to work out and what have you, but the rooms that are done now are brilliant. They're genius.
Very brilliant. And the layout of the hotel, you kind of walk and you understand, and common room are in the right place, and the showers in the right space. It's kind of worked. I mean, it wasn't with leap of faith. I mean, we've been sitting, myself and you, and thinking, and this is what we're thinking. Okay, let's do it. Really? I mean, we really were going to do it.
Yeah, right. Well, of course, we had... all the vision coming also from JJ, Jungle Jim.
He did a fantastic job.
Crikey,
and the faith from his end, though. I mean, he's tell us what his vision, he tells us what he would like to see in the hotel, but very, very big picture part. I mean, never got into the specific on how to do it, how to make it happen. He trusts us pretty much that we will put it together. We will get the people, we will work it, we will go through all the challenging. Then you left, and then the challenging really began, on him. You have lots of responsibility. You don't have the trained contractor, builder, international leader to come in and actually take much of the load, and he had to do it himself. So
yeah, tricky, huh?
It was tricky. And many decisions that in the beginning that we wanted to get, we got to a point that we don't want to get any more decisions, because no matter what you will decide, people will have their opinion.
Yes.
I mean, even if you're sure that this is the best thing ever, but no, you don't think the same, and someone complained from the other end, and it's bring a different challenge in.
Yep.
But knowing that we're moving forward and get support pretty much, you know, for hundreds of people from all around the world, thousands I would say by now, that really want to see us succeeding and really staying on the loop. And our Facebook group, the Moist Burner Hotel Project, we started with 3 people, now it's a few thousand, now it's growing on a daily basis, and we keep approving picture. We got some questions on the chat over there, so let's say they still thinking that you're from France, not from France.
Francois, how do you say your name? Hi to France.
Why do you love Burning Man?
Ooh, do I love Burning Man? As I said before, I think Burning Man offers up challenges that normal life doesn't. You know, in your normal run-of-the-mill world that we live in, there is certain challenges, obviously, but I think Burning Man offers up a freedom of thought and a new way to probably interact with people. One thing that when I found Burning Man, I realized I was kind of living my life like that anyway. You know, the gifting, for instance, you know, and radical inclusion. You know, I had a house that was a unique place in its own rights, and kids, as they grew up, well, their friends came, and we would always have parties or gatherings or international people coming and staying, and so it was a natural course of events to go to Burning Man, be influenced by it, and then take that with you, you know. And but I like going out to the big giant desert.
Before?
And, well, even during the event itself, you know, I mean, it's kind of an amazing place, you know, and I remember the first time I went, I had bought a crappy old van, and I took a young Scottish guy that was first timer as well, and we were like a couple of kids. You know, once we'd gotten through the gate, and you know, we were driving down there screaming and yelling like, "My God, this is amazing!" You know, and we hadn't even gone in really properly, you know. And so I've heard stories of people when they're first coming there, they drive down the road, see Burning Man in the distance, and they know they're coming back before they even got through the gate to the first time, you know. So it's a weird sort of effect that Burning Man has on people, and I think I like that.
It does. When I came for the first time, they asked me how many times you've been. I say, next year going to be my second. Seriously, I know that I'm coming back for sure. So people like you, people like me, just to take the Burning Man ethos and bring it back home, and actually live by it 24/7, and take it actually, when I say home, all the way home, across seas and pretty much to Kiwi land, to New Zealand. And now you guys have the Kiwi Bear, 9th year. This year was?
10, I think. It started in 2004. A guy that he was a geologist, is a geologist, New Zealander, and he was over here doing some work out in the desert in '96, I think it was, and saw this thing in the desert, met these crazy naked people at the hot pools, and they all said, "Come over and check this thing out." And so he did, and fell in love with Burning Man. And by the time he, you know, settled down a little bit back in New Zealand, he decided to. He was at a festival that was actually called the Visions Festival, and he asked whether he could burn an effigy, and they said, "Yep, sure, go ahead," you know. So he started the first burn in 2004, and then subsequently since then another, you know, a couple of years in one spot, and then shifted it to the North Island of New Zealand, North and South Island. So now it's in the North Island, and I think it's the 8th year in the North Island.
How many people attending?
Oh, slowly but surely, just over 800 this year.
So it's growing exponentially like Burning Man?
It's not really, not to the degree that Burning Man grew. You know, if that was the case, we'd have 8,000 by now, you know, in 10 years, you know, sort of thing. But we're still small, and it's a small country, you don't have a huge population. Quite a lot of people travel to New Zealand that time of year to go to Kiwi Bear.
Oh, good. So and, that definitely bring new people
lots of internationals and all sorts of stuff. So
how is the art? Can you compare like the art into Burning Man art? Or?
Yeah, you can. The man and the well, effigy, whatever you want to call it, and the temple are very large projects that are, you know, quite big projects and big ideas that people have got, and big fires. And in the other artwork that's slowly progressing as well, it takes a while for people to get the idea that they can actually think bigger.
Yeah.
And not have to build something like that in your house and stick it in the middle of a paddock, it disappears.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing at Burning Man.
Right.
You build something big and you take it in and it just disappears. That's why the temple had to be big.
Yeah. really big.
Really big.
Yeah,
But,
in the temple's transition, speaking about really big, the biggest temple ever been built to burn, right? The Guinness record.
Well, we didn't go for the Guinness thing in the end. We decided it wasn't really necessarily part of what we were doing. Basically, the temple was built and for the people, as you can see there, to write everything all over the walls and stick their messages, and it was quite amazing to see how much of the surface was covered in the end. It was quite an incredible, and even on Monday, Tuesday, by that time it was incredible what people had actually left in there. So yeah, it's a very special thing to build.
Omelette? No, it was the fireman.
Yes, fireman one. Yeah. But also you want to give the people something different, unique each time, as much as you can. I mean, there's all sorts of variations on a theme going into that particular building, and the other good thing about a project like that is the collaboration that you end up with. It's just insane how many people were involved and what they brought. It was the first time I think that music had been played there with the Gamelotron boys
and the harp
and the earth harp, and it was quite incredible. So
it was. You said you've been said when it burned. I mean, King over there asking, are you sad when it burns?
Oh right, am I sad? Well, it was actually kind of weird when it happened because I was hoping just to sit back and let everybody else set it on fire.
Right.
But unfortunately I had to get involved in the process, and probably lucky enough I did. But at the end of the day, I don't know whether sadness is the right word. There's definitely a letting go, and you feel relieved in some instances because it's a lot of work to get there. Personally speaking, I grabbed a little stone at one stage and just wrote Mum and Dad on it and placed it on one of the altars. I don't necessarily express myself through writing a whole screed of things on the walls like some people do. So I release, I think I feel those emotions and release them quite quickly. But yeah, the times I did feel sad was visiting, and you're there with the mood and the feeling that's going on, and seeing these people grieving, and also of course celebrating getting married and what.
Yeah, it was really happy temple comparing to last year's and the year before.
Quite amazing. Yeah,
it was very happy. I mean, you walked in and yes, it was emotion. I mean, you start crying, but you're not really sure why you're crying because you're happy and you're really full with yourself.
Yeah.
We got Lee asking when was the temple added to Burning Man, and that was 2000.
Yeah, year 2000. David Best. I think it was building basically an art project there. I don't know whether he had really thought seriously about the fact that Burning Man needed a temple, and it ended up to some degree in recognition of a friend that had died on the way to Burning Man, I think it was, and obviously the people of that year 2000 got it, and so he said, well, I'm going to come back next year and do another one, and obviously in conjunction with Burning Man they made it happen, and really it's grown from there, and it's quite incredible. I mean, just looking at this video, I love this video actually. I watch it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And people are just so silent, and absorbing what it was.
It was magical.
Yeah, it was. It was a magical time.
Now, we said that it's coming, start in 2000, the first temple came out.
Yep.
Where was it placed? I mean, on the playa, do you remember?
No, I don't know where it was.
Right now it's 12 o'clock, it's there, and you know exactly where the temple, and you can just follow the lanterns and you will made it.
Yeah.
But what was in 2000, 2001,
yeah,
2,
not
3?
sure. Well, the city was obviously in a evolution form itself.
Yeah.
Man was in the middle, as normal. And I would only assume that maybe it was only really an art project that was popped off to one side.
Right.
And then they realised maybe 2001 that the significance of what was going on with the temple, that it needed to have a place marked especially for it.
Now we got an interesting question from Mike.
Yeah.
Why to build something and burn it?
Fire's cool.
It's a bit more than that. I mean, we said, I asked Ray, one of our regional contacts in Israel, in Midburn, and he said if you'll ask 10 different people, why do you burn?
Yeah.
You'll get 12 different answers.
Yeah.
Because everyone have his own opinion and his own ideas and why they would like to burn it. And so why do you like to burn it?
I think originally it's quite a primal thing to do. You know, we all love the bonfire and standing around and having a few beers and, you know, keeping warm or whatever. When you start to create things like effigies and temples and specific art projects to burn, yeah, you probably do ask, well, why are you burning that? It's so amazing, you know. I mean, and people have said, particularly with the temple and temples, why do you burn it? Well, there's a letting go, I think, that comes with that. In New Zealand, of course, we have Guy Fawkes, November 5th every year. We used to, not so much these days, there's a little bit more control over what we can and can't do with these fires, but there would be huge bonfires and you'd make a guy, you know, and stand a guy on top and dress him in clothes and burn the whole lot, you know. And so it's whatever you want it to be, whether it's a celebration or just a fun thing to be around with the fire. And I think also at Burning Man particularly, it's such a huge vast place, as I was saying, that fire really is cool out there.
It is
fire
cool.
is cool.
But what about the environment?
Yeah, well, the environment sort of gets a bit of a knocking around, you know. I mean,
a few things are happening, and again, I'm not trying to hit you, but we're burning the trees that we're taking off the grounds. You know, we're taking them live off the ground, and usually, and then we build it, and then with all the smokes that going into it, and whatever left over from the buildings, most of it going to recycle, and the rest of it's ashes and stuff. It's quite impacting the environment.
You know, I don't know if they do it at Burning Man, but
and I just want to say before you answer, because I'm also burning big art.
Sure, yeah.
So it's important to know.
Yeah, the carbon footprint that we create. I mean, you could even take that right back to the people that fly in from overseas on, you know, planes, and then all the vehicles that go out there, the gasoline that's burnt, the constant machines that hum away with diesel or whatever the hell. But what we do at Kiwi Burn, we donate $4 out of every ticket sold, which we don't sell tickets for very expensive over there.
Someone asked for how much? $70?
Yeah, $70 starts. There's a tiered thing and it gets up to about 140 or whatever, but it starts off at about $70. And anyway, so $4 out of every ticket sold goes towards a native bush area that we put money into, which basically is makes you feel good to some degree that you are actually putting some money into something that is helping the carbon offset.
Right.
But you're never going to get that smoke back. I mean, sure you will potentially, because it's going to drift over sort of forest somewhere and the trees are going to suck it in again, you know, and turn it back into solid carbon. But I think we get a bit concerned about some of that stuff these days, you know, and if it was an issue, we wouldn't burn anything.
Right. No, and there is another holiday that's been created last year, Plant It and Burn It.
Yes.
And burn us pretty much all around the world on June 21st, planting trees. So you guys plan on planting trees this June 21st. We're going to have an event here at the backyard of the Morris, and probably will plant about a dozen of them.
Yep.
And the idea is to upset, you know, whatever we're burning every year and bring more oxygen and bring more beautifulness and all the hippie stuff part of it.
Well, the one thing about what we burn also, I mean, you could look back to Uchronia, 2006, the giant structure that the Belgians built, and the wood was brought down from Canada, the lumber, and it was something to do with, it was the wrong size machined or whatever it was an order that had gone awry, so what do you do with this stuff? Do you let it sit in the yard and rot? You know, you can't build houses out of it. It's not that type of wood to build anything out of necessarily. So it's not like we're taking stuff that is, you know, even native or purpose. You know, what we're doing is purpose grown wood that actually is to burn. You know, build stuff and burn it, whatever. You know, it's like.
I put it on a scale, and yes, we are affecting environment a lot.
Sure.
And on the other end, we are feeling ourselves. I mean, when you go into the playa and you see this giant temple or giant hand or giant other project that people build, you feel yourself with energy and love and appreciation and enthusiasm that you can build the big stuff too. And yes, the let go at the end that you actually, okay, so we finished with this chapter, we received everything we could through the most potential from this structure. Now we're moving on. What's the next thing we build? And we got to a point that we, yourself, myself, just to invest life in the actual structure that's not going to go to the playa and burn. Maybe we're going to build a model one day, you know, like a small model that you can walk inside, maybe a full scale on the playa that's going to be to burn. Who knows?
Exactly.
But choosing a project that will last for longer and will be with more people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've always thought it'd be great to build a temple. David Best did it a couple of times actually now in this world, and that would stay as a monument. I've got a friend back home, a couple of friends back home, that they actually grow willow, and they do a whole lot of these lantern type things with the willow, but he's also growing stock so that he can actually grow a temple, and he wants to do it in one of the local cities in New Zealand. So, you know, that's kind of cool, where you can actually grow this temple and it's constantly evolving and, you know, massive. So yeah, somehow you can bring that back to the community.
And speaking about other projects overseas and in the actual countries, Temple for Christchurch, been built in New Zealand.
Yep.
You want to give a bit about that?
Well, obviously the Christchurch situation with all the earthquakes that they had down there that virtually destroyed the city. Hippie Tim, been a buddy of ours for years with a Kiwi burn and was involved in the temple. He wanted to build a temple in Christchurch for the people. And of course it was very hard for a lot of people to get their heads around it. You know, what does this thing mean? You know, what are you going to burn it for and all that sort of stuff. And but in the end he persisted and built this beautiful temple, and he couldn't burn it in the city where it was, so they had to transport it out of the city to a race course.
Yep.
And burn it out there, and 300 people followed them out there.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, so they had a good, you know, following and a turnout, and a lot of people got it, which was cool, you know. And so, you know, who knows what could happen next. What was that question? Morris will be a BM structure forever. Yes, it will. Yeah, Lance. And that's the good thing about it, you know. We don't necessarily want to burn everything, you know, but at the same time, we've got a fireplace in the backyard.
That's true. Guess it asking us if Kiwi, do you know if Burning Man event in England?
Not in England specifically. They have a European burn down in northern Spain, which is called Nowhere. You can search that out on Google. And they actually started the same year as us, so they've been going 10 years now, roughly. And
no burning, nowhere.
No burning though. Yeah, they can't burn in Spain. There's a whole nationwide fire ban. So they party big time. They have puffers, I think it is, and that's about it.
Oh.
But they can't burn anything, which is probably good sometimes, I suppose. But yeah, Ireland has a bit of a gig going on in Ireland as well.
Right. No place like Dome.
Well, there's another one called Smoking Crack.
Oh my god, I don't want to go
At
there.
a castle.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Bob
cool.
told me about this and it
That's pretty
sounds
cool.
quite incredible.
Yeah,
So it happened.
Yeah.
So basically, guys and others, go to Morris Burn Hotel. Go to burningman.com and see the international network, the regional network, and you can read pretty much about all these other regions.
Yes, there is in Israel.
Yep, happening in Israel, Midburn in June 4th for the first time official Burning Man event sanctioned with regional contact and all this craziness that's happening. Going to happen in the desert, and I highly recommend to go and just fly to Israel and you'll be able to be there. And it's they're giving about 50 tickets for international people. They're doing the effort to come through.
Okay.
It's going to be about 2,500 people overall in the event for the first time.
Nice.
So it's quite incredible.
That's good.
We call it the first time.
You've been seeding the project for a few years now.
Yeah. We did lots of unofficial events. I mean, we never was worried about Burning Man say that you are a sanctioned event.
Sure.
We did it for ourselves. We got whatever we need to get from Burning Man and by going ourselves. And just sit together, a group of about 12 to 20 people, thinking how can we put it in form for the first time. Thinking, and spend most of the time on thinking.
Yeah.
And there's a crazy guy from America.
Lots of coffee and thinking.
A lot of coffee for thinking. And then this crazy guy from America fly over and say, I want to have burn on the beach birthday for my mom.
Yeah.
So they did it. I mean, we did it. And it was quite incredible. It was about 350 people just getting together on the beach. No promotion, no advertising,
it doesn't
no
take
flyer,
much,
no posters.
Yeah.
6 months later, we choose to put another things again because we understand the potential and we saw how much hungry the people are for more event this type. The pureness feeling that you'll never see, in different places was there, and they say we want to do it again. 6 months after, 2,000 people, and the community start going extremely exponentially.
That's good.
I mean, extremely exponentially, and the support that we get from all over, and the way that it's growing is amazing. And the people that in Israel, the Borg in Israel, really put an intention of actually make it right. They thinking all the time about how can we make it even better and how can we get more people involved. And one of the regional contacts, I won't use his name, say, I'm doing a burn. It's not Burning Man, it's a burn, it's my burn. Radical inclusion my ass. I choose who is coming, and you have to participate if you want to come. Sign up for a shift and then you can come. And he did it that way, and he took about 300 people. They just sent them to the woods somewhere and they build an actual burn. But it's great right now, individuals that are leading areas, and you have all the theme camps that went to the first time. So really people being forced to participate, then they say, oh, it's gonna feel great.
Cool. Yeah, it's kind of a good thing to do, isn't it? You know, that whole participation thing, you know, you can either be a spectator or a participant. And I think a lot of spectators turn into participants.
Yeah, very fast. You go into the first year in the intention, I'm just gonna absorb. No such thing. I mean, we need someone to lift this box. Can you put it over there?
Exactly.
Here we go. You participate right now.
Exactly.
So you say participation. Do you want to put about your one principle that you prefer the most from all of them?
Well, I think one of the trickiest ones is radical inclusion. Because sometimes you've included somebody that when they're inside your radical inclusion, they're actually quite annoying. And so with radical inclusion comes radical tolerance. You need to tolerate people's behaviors sometimes, maybe educate them a little bit on where they, what direction they could be going in. You're not trying to force them to want to be accepted. And really, if it gets to a point, you know, it's the downside of radical inclusion is radical exclusion. You know, unfortunately, you have to say to people, sorry, you don't get it, you have to leave. You know, we have issues in New Zealand at the event where people come in and they don't really get it and they cause a ruckus and we have to get them removed. That's just what it is, you know. So basically, radical inclusion is always a tricky one.
Alright, let's see what we got more questions. We got about a minute more and let's just go through real quick. Wow, that sounds cool.
Can I be your PA?
What does that mean, PA? Hold on.
Personal assistant.
Oh, please. Please want to be my PA. Brian, I definitely will enjoy personal assistance. No way is Vision hiring. No hiring. You come in volunteering and helping us, and definitely we need help. What more we got? Vision, can you do a show about what to bring to Burning Man? That's a great idea. Who's asking this one? Grace, are you from Reno? If you're from Reno, please send me a message. If you're not from Reno, please send me a message. Email to me, vision@morrisburnerhotel.com, and we can talk, and that's a great idea. And as we're getting closer to the Burning Man, we're probably going to have here the Morris, and please come and be one of our mentors and guides. We're going to have the Sparkle Pony boot camps and first timer workshops, and pretty much get people that going to the first time. Hopefully Grace will fly all the way.
It's kind of interesting. I think, you know, you look at where you can contribute on these things, and you know, you say mentoring or whatever. I think it's when people have these questions, it's just trying to give them an answer that's appropriate to what their question is specifically, you know. It's quite a broad one to say, what do I take to Burning Man? There's a list once again on burningman.com. But yeah, it's trying to share your experiences. And one of the joke ones is, I wouldn't go to Burning Man. Nah, don't go to Burning Man. But of course that makes you want to go. So it's like the reverse psychology.
There's a lot that you need to take to Burning Man. There's a lot of that we recommend to people to know. I think
one of the big things is take an open mind.
Yeah, open mind. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Put that in your bag.
Go open and to learn. And yes, you know a lot. Yes, you're traveling a lot around the world. Yes, you've been to the desert. That's fantastic. You've been to festivals. Yes, you're doing all of it. But come open-minded because you're going to learn something different. Burning Man, it's not like a festival. Burning Man, it's not like an event. It's not just camping in a desert. It's all experience. And come open-minded and learn it. And if you're in Brazil, that's a little bit challenging to come next week. But in the future, if you're planning to come a week before Burning Man, go into the Morris Burner Hotel, send us a short email about who you are, what you're going to bring, and how you're going to bring it to Burning Man. See how we can help you with our resources and our knowledge. And our goal is to get as many people as possible from all over the world to come by the hotel, not to stay, because we cannot have all of them stay. Just stop by and pick a piece of information, meet a new friends, and go to Burning Man. Have the best time of your life. Come back, help us to clean all the dust after people bringing them, and then go back to your country.
I was just going to say, Brace in Brazil, I think there's something happening either in Brazil or Argentina.
Argentina, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So just check it out again and keep your ears open or to the ground, or whatever it is. But yeah, I'm sure there's something down that way happening.
And the community, and almost every country have a regional contact.
Yep.
There are more than 200 of them right now.
Yep.
And just find the regional contact in your area, ask them what's the next event that you guys doing as a culture. And if you don't have anything, ask them if you can do an event. And just post an event, and Facebook work quite fantastic. We build communities with Facebook. And say that you want to do an event, whatever event you want to do. Welcome to Virgin's workshop, and just talk to people. I mean, find like-minded, find burners that are already going to Burning Man, talk to them, they will teach you, you will teach them. It's quite an experience.
Quite an experience.
Anything that you want to add before we say goodbye to everyone?
Ooh, well, I just hope that everybody has a fantastic year. If you're going to Burning Man, have fun. If you're not, watch it on live TV somewhere maybe, I don't know. But yeah, enjoy what you're doing and be passionate about it, and try not to be talked out of doing things by people that aren't reasonable.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming to our show. This is, I think, the longest I ever got to a conversation with you, and that's good.
We may do it again. It's quite cool. I like it.
Yes, it's fun. And we can do it any day we want. And we can do recording about future stuff and just talk and get concentrate, one area and talk about it really, really deep. But in the meantime, we're going to say goodbye to everyone in the chat and everyone behind the camera and people that will watch us in the future. Thank you very much for your time.
See you
guys.
Thank
you for the people in the control behind there. Thank you very much for Stuart. And we are here at Studio M, down in the LoadedTV site on the Moores Burner Hotel basement. Please tune in next week, every Monday at 5:30.
For sure. I'll be back, Mike.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak.